Well, for over 40 years, the pale blue with the brown sash and brown sleeves has been a regular feature at Maitland and Newcastle. Not so much these days, but it's making a rare appearance at Clubman Angle today, and I'm pleased to say I'm joined by Geoff Dorn. Geoff, good to catch up with you on a rare trip to Clubman Angle.
Thanks, Mike. Yes, it's not often I get down here with only having one or two horses. You've got to have the right horse to bring along.
Over 42 years in the business, and it all commenced with your dad.
Yes, I heard you say that those colours have been around for 40 years. They've probably been around for more likely 60 because they're Dad's colours before I took them over.
Sadly, Alan passed away a couple of years ago, but he was always had a handy horse in the stable.
Yeah, he had some nice horses over the years. Again, he worked all his life, and the horses were a hobby. So I graduated into that, just followed him, and probably for Dad too, it was a great interest for him. He was my best follower, went to the races with us most of the times up until the last few years. So yeah, he was a great supporter.
Geoff, outside of harness racing, what was Dad's other involvements?
Dad's a carpenter by trade, and he also had a poultry farm for 20 years.
You've also got a very interesting job outside of harness racing.
I don't have it now. I'm retired and just doing the horses now. But yes, I'm an industrial chemist by trade. I worked in laboratories analysing coal.
Comes as no surprise from that Newcastle, Maitland area.
That's right, the Hunter Valley. It's a lot of coal there.
What a strong growth area it's been for many, many years, Geoff, as you would certainly testify. As far as harness racing is concerned, Maitland, Newcastle in particular.
Yes, it's a strong area. You'll see lots of horses balloted at Newcastle each week, so there's lots and lots of horses in the area. A lot of horses trained at Maitland and even Cessnock Way, so it's a fairly strong area.
Apart from your harness racing involvements on the track, as far as Maitland is concerned, you've been on the committee for a number of years?
Yeah, I did serve some time on the committee at Maitland, back when even Frank Norris was there, so back in those days.
And the feature event at Maitland is the Maitland Inner City Pace, and it's still a race that's been eluding you.
Yes, I've won some heats over the years, but never been able to manage to win a final.
As far as your dad is concerned, what would be the most important lesson you learned from him?
Probably just the hard work, the diligence, and being the all-round horseman. Like Dad shod his horses, I still shoe all mine. So over the years I've bred horses, broken horses in, trained horses, driven horses, served on committee, so been all around.
You've had well over 100 winners, and one of the feature players in your barn was a horse called Mendacity. Contributed 23 of those wins from 124 starts. Runner-up 20 times, placed third on 10 occasions, and an Inter-Dominion runner back in 2005. That must have been a great thrill.
That's probably the highlight of my career, taking that horse to New Zealand and competing. Yeah, we didn't win a heat, but we did run in the consolation. But yeah, a great experience. Anyone that says is having doubts about taking a horse somewhere to a meeting like that, I just say go, because you may never get the opportunity again, and it's a great experience.
It was a new experience as far as you were concerned, going overseas to New Zealand and being up against the best of the best, and you went to one of the best for some information.
Oh yes, I did. When I had Mendacity, I was travelling him to Brisbane. He ran third in Winter Cup up there. He also went around the Kilmore Cup, so I was travelling him interstate and also to New Zealand. So I sought the advice of Brian Hancock. I just asked him a few tips on how to travel horses, what to do, and yes, Brian was great with his advice.
Yeah, when it comes to getting tips about an Inter-Dominion, you just go to Mr. Inter-Dominion.
That's right, he's the king.
What was the most important lesson then from Brian you learnt as far as all that advice?
Well, the first thing he said, if you're travelling a horse up the highway going to Brisbane, put him on, take him off every 3 hours, let him get their head down, clear their nose, give them a drink, give them an eat, put them back on and go for another 3 hours, and they'll arrive at your destination in perfect condition. And then that's what I've done any time I've travelled a horse.
Must have been a great thrill to win a Newcastle Cup with Mendacity.
Yes, that was a highlight. The Newcastle Cup back then was still a feature race at Newcastle. Sadly, they don't have it these days, but yeah, it was a great thrill to win the Newcastle Cup because there's been some really good horses win it in the past.
You've won races at Hurrell Park, you've won races here at Clubman Angle, in particular Jody Pody more recently, but there's two horses, Sergey and Oleg. very interesting names concerning those two. How did that come about?
Yes, the owner of those two horses, she named them after the meerkats on an advertisement on the television.
Yeah, well, they're very famous, and Sergey and Oleg have certainly done a good job for you, in particular Sergey winning a country series final here 2019.
Yes, that was the second country series I've won with him. He was won one, and our horse, Mr. Tapto Lombo, we won a few years prior to that.
Talking about idols as far as and local identities, Newcastle and Maitland, Dick Osborne, they don't come any better than him.
No, Dick was the benchmark when I was a teenager and growing up, and he's probably one of the best drivers I've ever driven against. But Dick was a great bloke to get advice off. If I needed to know something, what I've got to do here, Dick, you go and ask him, and he'd offer his advice straight away. He was good.
Kirkwood family also played a part in your career.
Yes, the Kirkwood family, Norman and Graham, and their other families were great help to me. I still have an association with the Kirkwood family today.
Geoff, on this very rare visit to Club and Angle, been good to catch up with you.
Thanks, Mike.